Well, we're getting into the evening, but still have some time to play with this. So I think what I'll do, this is all coming well enough. I like it, happy with the direction it's taking. Now, as we work our way down, the attic is good. The top floor is okay. The main floor is good. The basement is still shiny and white, and now that we're starting to work our way down, this is starting to bother me. So I think what I'll do is wash in our colors. Just to get rid of that blinding white. It's just too bright. I'm not fond of it. So I'm going to really dull down some yellow ochre using a little ultramarine blue, a little bit of raw umber, so it's sort of greenish. I've actually added a bit of white to it, but let's see, how does that look? Yeah, that's dark enough. I'm going to keep it pretty dark on the bottom here. So I set that line there for reference for me earlier. I'm going to use it for now. We'll see what happens, but I like the way it's sitting, so I think it's a good place to start. And if it's not perfect, that's fine. Those are things we can work on later. Yeah, I quite like this guy. It's, I find this guy interesting. There are some things I want to do to it. I'm still looking at where the sky meets the higher, these clouds meet the higher value. I'm still finding that line to be too hard. It might need some breaking up. It might need to be just blended and smudged a little bit. Not going to worry about that yet. Another thing I'm not sure of yet. I know I could do it and make it work, but you don't just want to make it work. You want to make it work as well as you can. You obviously want to shoot for the best outcome. So the other thing I'm thinking of doing is breaking through where this cloud meets with this one, and sort of that's a bit of a barrier. It may not be a bad thing. It may eventually be a good thing. I may just break this this gray through to this gray and make it a little more monolithic, and then have this as a separate cloud. But I would like to put more information on the canvas down below before I make that decision. So that's what we'll do. And at the moment, all I want to do is get my finger dirty and get rid of some flecks of debris, detritus, and get rid of the white. Okay, so that's going to be, I'm planning that to be a fairly light band, picking up some light from way up top. No, this water is not going to be a reflection of, of the scene that's behind it. It's going to be picking up light in appropriate manners depending on the wave pattern and the wind direction, which from there to here can change completely. So we're not concerned about that. So, but what I'd like to do, we have a sort of a reddish, purple theme going on in the foreground. I'm going to continue that into the water. Going to stay with the mauves. And I don't want to get too high in value. It's easily done because of working on, working adjacent to white. I always make the mistake of going too light. And I gotta be careful of that. So we're just going cobalt blue, alizarin crimson, and a little bit of raw umber for the moment. Let's see, how is that? See, it's funny, it looks so dark on the canvas, but it's really not. It's, when you see it on the palette, it's nowhere near that dark. And that's why it's so important to get rid of that white on the canvas. Because it's on the canvas where you make your final decision. It's not on your palette. What is that? That's got to be a piece of debris. Yeah, it is. That too. Get rid of that now. Smudge that line right away. Okay. And I know I'm going right across. I have this line here, which is going right across the painting, or right across this entire area, and I'm not too worried about that. It's the smaller study that I did years ago. It worked very well. And as I mentioned before, I think that study was twice as tall as it was wide, and it still managed to work out okay. So I'm not going to worry about it right now. As long as I don't wash things in too light, that's my main concern. And if you do find that you've washed things in too light, then yeah, you can still fix it. It's just that when you scrub over it with another layer of paint trying to darken it, it'll always pick up a bit of that light background. So it's difficult to maintain the strength. Okay, that's about as far as I'm going to go with that. Now let's just throw a little bit of ultramarine blue in there. And a little more alizarin crimson. Slowly getting a bit darker. How's that? Yeah, that's good. I think we can use that right to the edge here. Hint of raw umber. It's funny when you're washing in areas too. Alizarin crimson and ultramarine blue. It's dark, but it's kind of an opaque. No, it's kind of a translucent pigment, combination of pigments and carrying agents. And raw umber sometimes actually serves to make it more opaque, because raw umber, the particulate shape and texture of raw umber it's pretty rough, it's pretty corrugated. And I'm not sure what they use as binders or carrying agents in the paint itself. But they do a really good job of making the paint more opaque as far as a wash-in goes. Okay, still in the right direction. Okay, that's good. That's good for the moment. Now I'm going to clean this brush. Well, clean it. Yeah, I'm going to clean it. clean it. I'm not going to make it spick and span, but I'm going to make it reasonably clean. I have to keep checking my camera because every now and then I think to myself, okay, am I recording? Oh, I'll be right back. I just have to stop my computer from going to sleep. The one I have in my studio, the computer I have in my studio is very slow and old, and if I let it go to sleep, it takes a long time to get it to wake up. I would prefer if it did not take a long time to wake up. Alright, now I'm really low on raw umber. In fact, I'm quite surprised. I thought that I had another tube, a new tube. I don't. So I'm going to use up the rest of it by adding it to ultramarine blue and red sienna. I'm just mixing up a bit of a dark mixture here to sketch in this rock again. Do I have that on camera? Maybe I'll just adjust the camera a moment. Not concerned about washing it right to the bottom, but I need to keep moving away steadily from up here. Need to keep that white away from my decision-making process. So in a sense, I may as well try to wash in most of it. You know, I have enough work done up there that by now I should be able to make a pretty firm commitment to the shape of the rocks in the foreground. And seeing as I am only washing it in, it's easy enough to change. Let me just adjust the camera so that you can see the entire foreground. Okay, brace yourself, put on your seatbelt. We're going to shake. And zoom in a little, and zoom in a little more. Okay, back to work we go. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this idea in general. I think I'd like to go back up here though. Something like that. That's pretty umbery. I think I can afford to add a little bit of ultramarine blue to that. Make it a little bit darker yet. Yeah, that's better. Alright, now what if we do that? And then we cut it down a little bit. And then we have this sort of nub behind it. I think I don't mind this. And I don't mind that. And I know I'm not backing up while I'm doing this now, but I backed up several thousand times while I was sketching it, so I have a pretty good idea in my mind what I want for this. Yeah, that's a bit of a tabletop, isn't it? Yep, that's... Okay, after bragging that I know what I want, I'm a little concerned about that. So how about if we bring it up to there? We can always use the water to cut into it and change its shape. It's really not a big deal. You know, I'm kind of liking the notion of having grass cut into the base. Barely a difference in color, barely a difference in value, especially value. I think a fellow I'm subscribed to, Greg Hargarten, he's a member of a Canadian group of painters just called Men Who Paint. they go out a lot, and they make some wonderful trips. They go out and make studies and paintings, and they're based out of Saskatchewan, actually. But he and I were exchanging some comments on various videos, and I remember he said at one point, value does the work, chroma gets the credit. And that's very true, you know, I agree with that. In many ways, it's very true, but and I'm guilty of not paying enough attention to values sometimes, so we'll just try to do that. Try to do a better job of that this time. Try to be a good boy. Okay. We're not going to worry about all this right now. But I do kind of like what I have going on here. So do that. Sure you can hear that. We have a kid in the neighborhood who seems to have some kind of a new turbo diesel pickup truck. And every time he drives between, I live in a small cluster of houses, and every time he, you know, surrounded by kilometers of road, but every time he gets to the houses, it's almost as though he wants to impress everybody with the noise. Anyway, another child with too much, with wealthy parents, let's put it that way. Foolish wealthy parents. Boy, I do get personal and grouchy and salty about things, don't I? Sometimes I need to be quiet, and I don't know when. Okay, I'm blithering, you know that. Okay, so that's sort of the start of the rocky structure here. I think I like that. I think I can work with that. You know, it's. Yeah, I don't know. I'll mess with it later. But one other thing that I do like about this so far is the notion of having this, and I don't know if that's going to stay. No, it's not going to stay dark. It's probably going to go light. There'll be a slash of light in here. Yeah, I think it will. I don't know. Okay. I think we'll get a bigger brush and work in the water a little bit. Well, I suppose we'll carry on a bit here. I would like to. Oh, that's very blue. Which is okay. It's going to be painted over, so it's not the worst thing on earth. But I'm kind of looking forward at this point to getting rid of, oops, bit of junk there. To getting rid of the white. And I can already see that it's going to help a lot, because what happens when you get rid of that white is it helps you to understand what you can get away with regarding your values. I don't mean your moral values. I just mean your colors. But see, I can see already that as I'm getting rid of all this white in the foreground, I can make my sky much lighter than I thought I could in places. So I can make better judgment calls when I go back into the sky. So because the brush was dirty, I'm still using, or I'm back to using, what is this, number 10 I think. Yeah, number 10 round brush. And it's going to just let me sort of carry on with my business for a bit here. I'm probably not going to use this a whole lot when I paint in the water, but I'm not sure. I would use a more beat up brush than I have right now, but you know, I think I've mentioned to you in the past that I'm quite lazy. And because of that, I'm just going to keep working with what I've got here. Because it takes a lot of squeezing and rinsing and squeezing and rinsing to clean out a number 10 large brush. And I'm not going to paint tomorrow, so well, I'll load this video, I'll upload this video tomorrow, but I don't work Sundays, so. So this brush has to be in good shape still on Monday. Maybe even Tuesday before I get back to using it. Too bad, you know. I ran out of raw umber. I was sure that I had a new tube of raw umber still, but I don't, so. Because I really wanted to wash in this rock, a lot of it, of this very bottom foreground with raw umber. It's just so easy to use and it's so opaque. You can add a fair bit of turpentine to raw umber and still end up with a good opaque wash in. That's not going to be the case now. Now there are ways of working around that-ish. I can use, and right now I'm probably going to use it. I'm going to go with alizarin crimson and burnt sienna. Nope, I'm sorry, not alizarin crimson. Ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. It makes for, if you only use those two, it makes for a good cold, it's sort of a dirty green in a way, but because I'm mixing it into my pile, which has a hint of white in it, it'll have to be a reasonable replacement for raw umber. Let's see what happens. Well, you know, it's dark. It's dark, so that'll help. That's at least a start. funny, you know, I'm washing this rock in very dark, but once the water is painted, okay, this is my thinking, am I recording? See, I keep doing that. There will be highlights on this rock that are, in general, the rock is probably going to be, in some places, lighter than the water. But because the rock is in the foreground, I do want it to be dark. It has to have, it needs to have the most drama. And because it's Saturday night, I'm just using up whatever I've got on my palette before I move on. I don't put my paint in a freezer or any of that stuff. I just use up as much as I can the night before, sort of thing. And frankly, I can just go around the bottom of my canvas because, well, I know it has to be dark anyway. Okay, so to be clear, I am not washing, I'm not using any oil at all. I'm just simply using turpentine or, you know, whatever paint thinner you use, whatever. You know, it can be mineral spirits, it can be terpenoid, it can be low odor turpentine. If you use just straight pure turpentine, boy, you're going to be in a world of hurt as far as smell is concerned. That stuff really stinks. And I can't imagine it being very good for you if you do it on a regular basis. Okay. This is just too light. Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to do any more tonight. Got more done than I thought I was going to. But I'm going to grab the camera and the tripod, and I'm just going to shake things up a little bit. Again, strap yourself in. And I'm trying to put the camera up as high as I can here, so you get as little glare as possible. And okay, I'm backed out as far as I can. Yeah, you know, but see how, you know, it really, now you're beginning to see the drama. This white is gone. I would have preferred to get rid of this tonight. That'll have to wait. But with all this now dark, with the general tones and colors that I want, you can sort of start to begin to see, I hope, the richness of the sky. I like how it's coming. And whoops, sorry about that. And I hope you do too. Anyway, guys, have a good day, and we will talk to you very soon.